Hey, ADP family, we are back. Excited to be back. It's been a couple of weeks. A lot has transpired, right? I mean, it was Halloween the other day, and then boom, overnight it's Christmas. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Exactly.
But I'm just excited to be back with you, Brandon, and talk about a fun topic today. Something we've never done because we're a Disney show. We've never looked outside of Disneydom, and we're going to play around with that this week. Are you ready?
I'm stoked. Let's do it.
Here we go.
This is another Disney podcast production.
It's weird because we've been doing this every couple of weeks. And so I'm used to seeing your beautiful, charming face. Well, I can't see anything. Wait, there we go. Your beautiful, charming face every week. But
yeah, no,
it's fine. It's fine. I'm
fine.
coping. I'm adapting. Maybe there'll be a season we'll come back.
Maybe there will be.
The holidays are going to be even more challenging, so we will make it through. It's going to be great.
I agree. And tonight is an exciting night as well. I'm super stoked because usually it's just you and I kind of looking at each other, and we talk to each other a lot during the week. So by the time we get to the podcast on like Tuesday or Wednesday night, a lot of times we have to fake like we're excited to talk to each other because we talk all week. But this week we decided to bring back one of our favorite people. You guys know him. You guys love him. So let's go ahead and bring him on. Let's say hello to our special guest.
Hey,
it's the Fuzz.
Oh my goodness. He needs his own theme music. What do we got?
I got the RobFuz horns. Where are they now?
Somehow that's everything's theme music.
Yeah, since the 50th, every time we've said iridescent or talk about like that was the music for iridescent. It was just there it was. Just
hi guys.
Rob, dude, welcome. It's been too long. Too long.
Yeah, definitely. I miss you guys.
We connect every now and then, but
yeah.
You had an exciting summer. I want to talk a little bit about that when we get into our topic because it'll also go brilliantly with what we're talking about. But at first, as always, our brand new tradition, we have what we have dubbingly called and lovingly called Brews and News.
Brews and News. And I think everybody participated this time.
Yes, Brandon does not have air light.
I do not have air light this time. I have, look, I have Voodoo Ranger. Like that's
you guys match, and I'm like, mine doesn't make any sense. I don't even have a beard.
Oh, dude.
Okay, I'll start with mine. Weird. I know I finished all of my fall thing. We went camping this weekend, so it's all gone. But I have from Devil's Backbone Distilling Company Smash on the Beach, which is really more of a summery drink, but it's really good. It's like vodka and orange. It's Smash on the Beach. Insert the shorter word if you know what I mean. If you're used to that, that's the innuendo. Brandon, what are you drinking?
I am drinking. This is New Belgium Voodoo Ranger. It's a Juice Force IPA, so it's high octane, man. It's like 9.4% alcohol.
Is it folly? Like is it apple?
No,
no, it's not pumpkin-y.
It's not pumpkin-y. It's just it's very hoppy. So I'm gonna have one of them, and hopefully I stay awake for the remainder of the podcast.
I'm the same way. I have one, and I'm like, man, I'm ready to go to bed.
I got coffee in one hand and the beer in the other hand. I agree.
Yes,
that is the effective double fist.
Okay, Rob, what is it? I got to see. This is
Blue Point Brewing Company. This is
nice.
We love pumpkin beer. We always pour it in like a glass with the cinnamon sugar around it, which is awesome.
Oh,
and this is Mother Pumpkin Ale. So
okay, now hold it up there. I'm going to bring you full screen if you're not watching. So I looked at this, and it's called like Mother Pumpkin, and I was like, oh wait, that's King Neptune holding like his trident with a pumpkin on top, and Brandon and Robert like, Dave, it's a woman sitting in a chair. So
yeah. And then you were like, hey, it's Ariel's dad, and wasn't his name Neptune? Was his name King Trident? What is his name, King Trident?
I don't know.
But this would be him if he wore thigh-high boots.
Well, maybe it's Ursula. Who knows? It all works out.
Hey, at least we all participated in Brood's part of News and Brews.
Oh my gosh, I know it's been a first. Okay, I'll jump in since it is Brews and News. I will start off with mine, and mine is going to basically be a dead story unless you listen to this literally the first day that this podcast comes out. But it's worth talking about. So if you remember, as an annual pass holder that Brandon still is, you have the opportunity to get this amazing pass holder only popcorn bucket, which is to some people may be amazing. To me, it was a definite miss. As a popcorn collector of Disney popcorn buckets, this one was a hard pass. But hey, if this is your thing, great. But there is one that came out yesterday, November 1st, that is going to be their shortest run that as far as I'm aware of, that they've ever done. So that makes me nervous that this is a sign of things to come. But it's the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride car.
It's amazing.
And with Mr. Toad sitting. So like you go from the pass holder bucket that is a round bucket with half a Mickey face on it to one of the most intricately detailed, I think, that at least an American park has done. Like some of the Asian parks have had some incredible popcorn buckets, but this one is really rad. But here's the thing. It's very short run, only at some places, and it's mobile order only. I like the mobile order only, even though it makes me immediately hungry. But it's only November 1st through the 4th in select locations in Magic Kingdom, only through mobile order. Yeah, I think I got all the details right. But it is dope looking. Now, here's what's crazy. Before we started, Rob and I were looking when Brandon was connected. Rob and I were looking. I was like, because they're already out. This is the second day they've been out. We're recording this on Wednesday. And I was like, what are they going for on eBay? And they were only $85. And why I say only $85 is because they're $35 to buy. So it's like only a $50 upcharge. Why I say that is there are still the Figment popcorn buckets. The buy it now price, the cheapest one I could find was $140. And I was like, well, what are they bidding for? There was one with 7 bids for $116. So there you go. Grab the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride off eBay at a bargain price.
Yeah, bargain price, $80.
Wow.
But yeah, it's awesome. And I shared the story with you earlier. I actually tried to see if I could book it as like a mobile order from my bedroom this morning. Cause like we're, as the crow flies, 400 feet away from Main Street. So I tried to book it, but it wouldn't let me. So I was gonna try to run over there during lunch and see if I could get it, but it wouldn't let me do it. I'll try it again tomorrow. Maybe I have to actually go in the backyard to do it.
Yeah.
Good news. For $85 plus shipping and handling, you can have your own.
It seems like a lot less work.
Mr. Toad kind of looks like Kermit the Frog, though. In the picture.
He does. I thought the same thing.
You gotta look it up if you're at home too. Look up.
It's the eyes. It's the eyes that make it look like Kermit.
Yeah, but
I guess the open mouth.
They have a bunch of pictures from like the Magic Kingdom. There's like one with fireworks in the background. It's just, you gotta look. It's very comical on eBay. All the pictures.
That is
really good.
I took it over there by like Big Top Souvenirs, and they got him like riding Mine Train. This is pretty. Mr. Toad has had a fantastic time the last couple of days.
Wow, his vacation is a whole lot better than ours. I have one. Most of mine are at my office and at the studio, but I do have one because since Disney went overnight to Christmas, here's my Christmas popcorn bucket, and it's however many years old and still works.
It's pretty awesome.
Look at that goodness.
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a sweet
and I think
battery.
they came out with the next one just like this the next year, except it was green. So I was like, well, I'm not getting that one. I already have it, just in a different color.
Yeah.
So there you go. Happy Christmas, popcorn buckets. Christmas. So if you listen to this Friday morning and you're going to Magic Kingdom, good luck.
Good luck. It's your last chance.
I don't know anything about popcorn buckets. Do you always get like the colored rainbow popcorn with it, or that's just unique to Mr. Toad because it comes with popcorn?
That is a unique thing.
Ooh, that is a unique thing. Usually they give you the bucket and then they actually give you the paper carton of popcorn because popcorn doesn't really go in the popcorn bucket. So it's more like a popcorn side piece, if you will.
All right, Brandon, what's your beloved news story?
My beloved story to bring to Brews and News is, and I'm excited about it. I saw some video from the cast preview last evening, but tomorrow we're taping this on the 2nd, so the 3rd of November, Fantasmic comes back to Hollywood Studios.
There it is.
We've talked about this a lot. We meant to talk about this during our last show, and we totally, like 3 hours after we recorded the show, Dave texted me and he was like, dude, we didn't even talk about Fantasmic. That's the first thing we wanted to talk about. So, hey, I'm bringing it up now, but it comes back tomorrow. They've added some new scenes. It looks super awesome. And we continue to talk about it. We thought this was going to be like one of the first things that came back after COVID. But one of my coworkers, his daughter works, in that park, and apparently between performers and crew and set people. It takes almost like 1,000 people.
I bet
involved in Fantasmic, and that is why it's taken so long to come back. So I'm stoked it's back. That park needs something.
Yeah, it needs a people sucker.
It needs something when the sun goes down, everybody rolls out. So that'll keep some people around and maybe keep some other parks less full.
We've joked about this so many times on our show about how we swore, and every time, like, predictions sure to go wrong, right? This is where we always listen to Dave and Brandon at Another Disney Podcast if you want to know what's not going to happen.
Correct.
And we thought for sure this would be one of the first shows to come back because it was outdoors. It's an amphitheater. You could space people apart accordingly and still fill up half the thing and still hold like 4,000 people. But now knowing like the manpower that it takes and female power to pull this off, it makes sense. But like, man, what a missed opportunity. But it's back now.
It's back.
Yeah, they had a cast member preview last night, so I was looking at Twitter, and they had a lot of great pictures, and the show got a standing ovation at the end. So
what?
It was pretty awesome. Yeah,
I'm excited to see the new scenes. Like it looks,
people were
live
streaming
TikTok and Twitter, and it looks really awesome. So I'm sure all the bloggers will be there tomorrow, and like it'll be everywhere. So check it out. I've seen it, I think once, maybe a long time ago, and I wasn't super impressed by it, but
I love it. So good.
Now I'm super stoked for it.
The one at Disney when it came back at Disneyland's is amazing.
Yeah, I've seen the one at Disneyland too, so it was really good.
Yeah, so super stoked about that. Something new at Disney. Woohoo!
I know, something old is new again.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's one of my favorites. One of my family's favorites. I was really bummed when we were there in January. It wasn't open. It was very depressing, but
I mean, it's great because it's like a parade that you just get to sit in one spot and they go by, but it's also different and unique because there's a story aspect to it. But why I say it's like a parade, it's a great thing to see a crap ton of characters for your kids. Right. Yeah. I mean, because like everybody's in it. So it's a beloved classic, and I'm glad it's back. And I like that there's some changes and some updates. So I think it's going to have another fantastic run.
Exactly.
All right, Rob, close us out with the last.
Close us out, Rob.
With the last Disney news story of the night.
I've been drinking a little here, so my news story is Universal Orlando to shut down 5 attractions to make room for a new family entertainment based on beloved animated characters. So, as me, I'm a retro guy. I love old school Universal. This is some original Universal classics that have been around forever, and they're going to close it down. They're going to do it's dated. It needs to be shut down. So January 15, 2023. They're getting rid of Fievel's Playland, Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster, Curious George Goes to Town, DreamWorks Destination, and they moved the Shrek and Donkey meet and greet there. That was just temporary. So that's going. I'm happy to report ET survives. ET will still stay there.
Oh, that's a win.
ET lives. ET lives.
Brandon, I do have a question. I don't know if it was
I'm very confused.
Maybe I was supposed to prep him, or I don't know if this was on your list.
Rob, did you get the notes for the show tonight?
Did you get show notes?
It's Universal. It's
we
Orlando.
do a Disney show.
Rob, wait a second. Another Disney podcast.
It's called another Disney podcast.
Oh no.
We joke because that news story couldn't be better. And also, can we just rewind? I think Fievel came out in 93. Is that right? Like, or maybe
so, yeah.
Like I was a senior in high school. If you want to know how old I was, so there you go. Yeah. I loved Fievel, and then Fievel Goes West. Let's go. That was my jam.
That whole area of the park. That's old. That whole area of the park was awesome. They had an amazing hard rock. It was shaped as a guitar. They had the Psycho House up on the hill, and then they had the kid play area there, which is bizarre. It was in that area, but it's
the kid play area at the bottom of the hill with the Psycho House. That seems logical.
Well, I mean, look, it was a thing. Yeah, Jaws. It was a thing because wasn't Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground at Hollywood Studios forever?
It was, yeah.
Gosh, that's reaching way back. Okay. Rob.
Yeah.
You could not have segued us any better for what we want to talk about tonight. And if you made it all the way to the end of our last episode, you know what the topic is, but
you know what it is.
One of the reasons that we wanted to invite Rob on is because he's freaking awesome. And if you haven't watched his channel, he does so many things, but definitely what he's known for is, like he said, he's the king of retro. And since he was 9 months in his mother's womb, he's been carrying around a video camera at theme parks, mostly Disney, and has unbelievable amounts of retro footage of all the rides that, if you're as old as us, grew up loving at all of the Disney parks and some of Universal for sure. And he'll do these sometimes powerhouse 6-hour live streams of where it's basically kind of like I grew up with MTV Total Request Live. It's basically like the same thing. You pick your retro Disney or Universal attraction, and if he's got it, by God, he'll play it. And so, Rob, tell us a little bit more about your channel.
Yeah, no, that you Dave's an amazing supporter of my channel. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, Christmas changed overnight too over here. I got the tree, I got Charlie Brown tree over here.
Just like Disney.
So, yeah. But yeah, no, that's my channel. I do, I've been since I was 13. I had a camcorder. I did a resort tour of the Polynesian. I recorded the resort TV off the screen. I kicked my parents and my brother out of the room. I had a tripod and I recorded the TV back then. That was my YouTube then. We didn't have YouTube then.
That's right.
So I just, over the years, I just recorded a lot of rides. A lot of them are extinct, and that does really good on my channel. Like any ride that was there and is extinct now, like a lot of the classics and stuff in Disney. So, but yeah, like I go live a couple times, 6 hours. Dave geeks out. He comes in and requests it. But thank you so much. RobFuz, RobFuz is my channel on YouTube, and I just have a lot of fun. So, and I've been, I did the total opposite. Dave inspired me. I'm doing a lot of 4K new stuff too. So nice. I got the old, I got the new. I just have a lot of fun. And Universal too. Like I was there the year after it opened, and like I got the Ghostbusters and Jaws and all that stuff. So I love showing that stuff. I love showing the old Disney World stuff and theme parks and all that stuff. So, but thanks.
I mean, I have to say, we all kind of, I know for me, I had a great, like you were, I don't want to speak for others, but I know this has got to be the case. You were a lifesaver, especially during COVID, to be able to have that 100%. Joy of watching that kind of stuff and seeing it when most of us were trapped at home or couldn't go, or, there was the fear of like, the danger involved of, gosh, I don't want to go and either get myself sick or someone else sick, even though the parks have started to open. So dude, thanks for like sharing your immense library with the world. It's incredible.
Yes. And it's weird because Dave, he watches those live shows, and for some reason he just types horizons, show horizons, show more horizons.
Yeah, Horizons is one of my big ones. Horizons, World of Motion, and Great Movie Ride. Those three are most.
That's a classic. I still love the one with Robin Williams with it's where Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is. What was it?
The Timekeeper?
Timekeeper. Yeah. That's always one I always made Rob play that one too.
I really got a great version of it too. I didn't really do it. Was a Circle Vision movie, which was awesome. Yeah. But it's really cool. And then the Alien Attraction, Alien Encounter.
That's right. Gosh.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's reaching way back. Okay. So
there you go.
Now that we've talked about Rob, there it is. We're ready to play, ladies and gentlemen.
Now we're ready to party.
So Rob, we pick on Rob because he does a Universal story. However, we are actually going to talk about that tonight. And so what we want to discuss is, because now I've said this multiple times, like Here Come the Tomatoes. Like, I know I'm crazy. I've never been to a Universal park anywhere in the world. Never. And it's mostly because my joke has always been, I love Disney so much, I would have to go to a Disney park for a month and maybe I'll go for a day to Universal. Like, I'm just that absurdly obsessed with Disney. However, things are changing. So Brandon shared a couple weeks ago, like the kind of the park, the numbers for like Orlando Park, and I think, right, am I right, Brandon? It's only like within Central Florida, right?
It's Central Florida park. So a story came out, and basically it said for the first time ever that the Universal parks in Central Florida have eclipsed the attendance of all of the Walt Disney World parks, with the exception of Magic Kingdom, because that one is just large and in charge. But yeah, for the first time ever, Universal Studios parks have beaten Hollywood, Animal Kingdom, and Epcot as far as overall attendance, which is shocking. So we thought it would be cool to kind of discuss what's going on, what we see happening in the future, why we think Disney and Universal are not necessarily butting heads, but going in different directions, maybe.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely a competition for sure.
Yeah, and that's why we asked Rob, because we don't go to Universal a lot. He was just
yeah. Rob's gone there a lot, and he actually, before we even jump in, I want you to share, like, so Rob has done, like, I have to say this because Rob would never toot his own horn like this, but he has done I'm talking lots of years and lots of events with Runaway Tours, right? Am I right on this?
Yeah.
And so he
not to
is
date
very
myself,
close.
I've been with them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Finish.
And so who is part of that? A big part of that is John Bon Jovi. Like, unless you live under a rock or only 3 months old like Brandon's daughter, like, certainly you know who Bon Jovi is. And so you have gone all over the world, like on cruises, like all the kinds. And so because of that experience, I'm assuming, I'll let you correct me, because of that experience, Universal reached out to you and you did a thing this summer for one of the most intimate things I've ever heard of for one of the biggest bands of our time right now. And that was Maroon 5. So talk about what you were able to do. And this all was through Universal, correct?
Yeah. So like I got 30 years I've been with Bon Jovi in June, which was amazing. So the company we worked with doing Runaway Tours, came to me and said, hey, we have this project. Would you like to be the project manager for it? It's a 6-month event. I started this February, and it went to August. We did Maroon 5. It was a private event at Universal Studios Orlando. And it's funny because I haven't really been to Universal in a long time. I'd probably say I've been there probably 5-6 times in the past, and I just came back. I actually went in January, and then in February I found out I got this event. So, we went as a family. We got to go 2 full days in January, which was amazing. And then February I found out, hey, I'm going back again. So I went back another 4 times. So I've been there like 5 times this year, which is crazy. So, and I got to participate in other people's events, which was awesome, where the park was closed, and then we got to do our event, Maroon 5, full show at the Music Plaza, and then most of the park was open, like ET, and like the park that's closed, but it's going to be closing in January, the 5 Land and stuff, that wasn't open, but most of the rides were open and everything. So we got to see a full show, and then till 1 a.m, you get to go to see Harry Potter all alone and everything. So
nice.
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, like I was geeking out. I got to go backstage and ride around in the carts and work with Universal. And we had a meeting we had a meeting in their this is my favorite part. Like I went down there for the final preparation. We had a meeting, and I'm gonna blow it, but it was the Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets conference room. It was awesome. So, like no one sees
I didn't know that was a thing.
All right, there,
like it's not a big, like it's for like their staff and everything. It's not a big deal, but for me, it was really cool. It was
that's cool.
Decorated. They have all the high-tech cameras and everything. It was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun. I made so many good friends there, and it was just like all you could eat, all you could drink. Maroon 5, like you can just walk up to a stand, all the popcorn, all the hamburger, all the hot dog, and all the Cheeto,
and
whatever you want.
So I said intimate, but it was like less than 3,000 people, right? Less than 3,000.
3,500 around there.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. Like, I mean, when you're talking about a band who sells out arenas, right? And then you get to have that kind of access, that kind of intimacy, and then like the food and drink and the park. I mean, that was a kind of a one of a kind event. I hope they do more things like that. I think that
you're hoping to do more.
If you get the talent to buy in.
Yeah, definitely. So
because I mean, it's you got to have like the money's got to be right for the artist, right? To have that little of a of an audience, but it makes for a killer. And I'm like, there's no way they couldn't appreciate something like that. That's your your biggest fans of your biggest fans, right? I mean, there's like that's the people who love you more than anybody else is going to go to that show. So anyway, so that's kind of awesome. Rob's background. Not only is like the king of retro and Disney and theme park videos, like he does some project manages for kind of some cool freaking events like that.
Yeah, he's also a badass backstage man. You know what I'm saying? My one question is, did you get to wear the little earpiece and like the event staff jacket? Because that means you're official.
I actually hate wearing those. They're called Secret Service earplugs. I really hate it when they go back and you have to put them a certain way, but I don't really like them. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So.
And then there's always somebody.
You got to understand too, Brandon. Like you go to if I just go like to a show down in the arena here and I'm like I have tickets, like What? I don't have backstage passes. What? I don't get to go to
I
catering.
can't just
What?
walk
I
wherever
can't
I
just walk
want.
wherever I want. I can't walk in the artist dressing room.
You're like, I put on events like this. Let me move around.
It ruins the experience.
So yeah, so that was your experience this summer with Universal. So super cool. But really, what we wanted to focus on is what Brandon said. So, we can't ignore it. There's no way Disney's going to ignore it. I'll talk about that. They had a chance to really wow us and failed. I'll point you to that podcast. But this is kind of a big deal. I think Universal is really making waves. Now, look, I know that the normal American family or even British family or Brazilian family is smart enough to go to Central Florida and visit all of the parks. Dave, unfortunately, is dumb enough to just go to Disney. So I know that there's obviously a draw, but this is the first time that I think it's made a dent that has caught not only Disney's attention, I hope, but mine as someone who doesn't really care about Universal. And so I wanted to talk about what is Universal doing right or doing different that Disney isn't, and then vice versa. So we're gonna lean on Rob a little bit. I know Brandon's been there because Brandon's a pretty decent Harry Potter fan. So I know you've been, and you live there now.
I do.
But I want to talk about it as someone who's never been and now has great interest because of Epic Universe. So if you don't know what Epic Universe is, Brandon, why don't you kind of give the elevator pitch of what it is?
Yeah, so Epic Universe essentially is Universal Orlando is building a completely new theme park in Central Florida. It's breaking ground. It is going up quickly. The parking lots are already lined, but there is some huge excitement about this new theme park. It's going to include some great new features like Nintendo Lands and things like that, but it's got everyone excited, and it's really going to be done probably in 4 years, like 3 or 4 years from groundbreaking to opening up. So it's just a brand new park aside from Islands Adventure and Universal Studios that is going to draw people because it's got new stuff, which Central Florida is hurting for. And it is got people excited. It's got even Disney people, the people that I know that work for Disney, it's got them a little concerned. And, you know,
I can see
it's concerned that it's going to take people away. So I'm excited about it. When you drive by it, like it's going up. So it's going to happen soon.
Now we've got a little like so I'll be transparent. Like we're all of the age that we grew up with Nintendo, right? And so like Mario and Luigi and Donkey Kong, and of course they lasted throughout generations. And now I have an 8-year-old son next week who loves Mario Kart, who loves all of the games that were on the Wii, and then the one that came out on the Switch. And so he lives on the Switch. And so like I now have like Nintendo is just something that crosses generations, very much so like Disney. So this is why I think it's an absolutely brilliant move, because this is the first time where I felt like, I mean, yes, Universal, everybody connects with movies. Everybody connects with TV shows. I get it. Well, but Disney has that too. And some would say Disney might do that better, right? Some would say. But I think the draw is you bring in something like Nintendo, like I'm 40 years old, right? And then I have an 8-year-old, and it's still just as prevalent. He loves the same characters that I love. And so here we have, 40 years apart, we have something in common. And to be able to like go experience that lifelike is not anything that I would have ever dreamed of. Now I know in Japan, I think Japan, right? It's already open. And they're adding it to Hollywood studios in Hollywood. But it's
smaller version,
and that's going to be next, like it's next spring. It's 2023 spring. Like this in Orlando is going to be 2025. But they're definitely on par to make that. It's not like Disney when they announce it, and it's like we're how many? What are 1,700 days of Tron, which is a carbon footprint of another ride that already exists in another park in the world. We'll move on. But I just wanted to talk about what are they doing right? And I'm just going to say, well, where they're killing it is they're opening a new gate, right? I don't know that Disney's ever going to do that. What do you guys so let's just talk about, do you guys think Disney will ever open a new gate in Orlando in the next 10 years? Let's just say that.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, 100%. I think they will. I think they're going to be forced to because of, what Universal's doing. So keep in mind too, they actually consider Volcano Bay their third park. So this is going to be their fourth park.
Right.
It is a couple miles away from
It's
Universal.
down, yeah.
And Dave and I were talking this afternoon, like how much Universal over the years, was they had small, and I feel they're the same victim as Disneyland was, where they only had a small footprint, and then they were kind of pigeonholed into that little area. So do the genius thing, build a parking deck, and then use your parking lot as a second theme park, which they did with Islands of Adventure. And it's just they bought Wet n Wild. They bought a bunch of land around the area. 3-4 times I've heard about different land like purchases over the years. So they pretty much built up a lot. But I told Dave too, another good thing is it reminds me of Disneyland, where everything's kind of in that area too. They have like 5 hotels. I got to stay at 3 of them this year, which was awesome. So we'll talk about that as we go. And you could walk from your hotel to the like through City Walk, and then you left to right's the 2 parks. So it kind of is, for an older gentleman as me, it's not as much walking and everything. So I think that's a plus actually. So but it's pretty amazing. So but you could, like, from the hotel you could actually see Epic Universe in the construction from the rooftop. It's pretty cool. So
So I looked up something, because I wanted to do like a compare and contrast, right? I looked up a couple things. So this is like number one, I think we all know this. It's very close, but Disney is more expensive, right? So this is one thing that like goes into a want for Disney, right? So the least expensive hotel is at Universal. The most expensive hotel is at Disney. 3-day with hopping at Disney is more expensive than Universal, right? Disney World, it just requires longer to visit. And like Rob just said, it's a whole lot more effort, like more transportation has to be involved, where it's very quick and easy to get around most of Universal, right?
A lot of boats and buses. They're big on that. Just the boats and buses. That's it. Big.
Obviously, they're built around. This is where I think they're more the same, but they're built around intellectual property. But obviously, it's very different. I would say Universal's library was pretty expansive, but it is interesting now that Disney bought Fox. That certainly exploded their library of stuff. And I think this is the biggest one. This is what I hear most about or read most about when it comes to polls is Disney World is known more for younger kids. We would not feel that way, but I would say my kids, 11 and, I'm just going to say 12 and 8, because it'll all be within the next 3 weeks. Everybody's going to be a year older. 12 and 8, like we can go on almost every ride together at all the Disney parks. There's a few that they don't like the thrill ones, but like, at Universal, they're much more thrilled. Well, the thing is, our littles don't stay little forever. They just keep growing. And so I think there's that interest of they want to do more things that seem death-defying or faster or bigger or better, right? Well, I want to say better. And so I think that's a big draw. Now, like Disney purists like me, it doesn't matter. Like I want to go there to feel like a kid. Like that's why I go. And I still think their rides are fun. But like, like we live like I don't go to Disney World for my like thrill-seeking rides. I go an hour down the road to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. So that's where I go. But so talk to me about I listed a couple of differences just to get it like that started. I mean, I feel like this is a low-hanging fruit, but what do you guys feel is some like major differences between Disney and Universal?
I'm sorry, Brandon. What was the cheapest hotel that you looked up, Dave? Sorry, for Universal.
Well, and the list that it just gave prices, and I didn't read how long this was. Example, for a June June stay so this past June, a June stay for 4 hotel nights and 3-day park tickets with park hopping, it was $863 at Disney and $742 at Universal. So it didn't say what hotel. I'm assuming that's going to be. I don't know anything about Universal, but I'm assuming that's an all-star hotel, almost guaranteed. And then the most expensive hotel, their cheapest room in the most expensive hotel was $3,500 Disney, $2,900 Universal.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't specific.
Most expensive, the Hard Rock and the Italian resort. I forget. Portofino Bay. Those are the two ones there. So.
Yeah. And I agree with what you said. I mean, I think Disney is one of the main differences is I would say Disney is rated like if there was ratings like movies, like Disney is an E or a G, right? Like everybody or like general audiences. And then Universal, I would think would be like PG 13, when you start getting into their Halloween Horror Nights. Like Disney really doesn't have anything that's that popular. I haven't gone to a Halloween Horror Night because usually they involve a lot of clowns, and me and clowns do not get along. But
me too.
But that's going to attract like the millennial younger crowd.
Yeah.
So and I think that is one thing they have going for them. Also, like I love Universal Studios social media. Whoever runs their social media page is amazing.
They're killing
like
it.
The way they knock on other parks and Disney especially, like that is what young people look at. Like they look at TikTok and they look at Twitter and like that draws them to that park. Whereas Disney posts the 457th video of Dumbo, the Dumbo ride, and says this is where dreams are made. Like that's their advertising, which is great. Yep. They have their diehard rabid fans, and those people will continue to go. But I think as far as drawing new people in, it's like that social media stuff that those attractions that are a little more mature that Universal has going for it. I don't know. I have been there once or twice. So maybe that's not quite there. I'll let Rob speak a little more to that, but that's what I feel.
Universal what do you think the differences are, Rob? What's the one thing that pops out to you?
I love that Brandon mentioned the social media. Like the person, I don't know. There's a team because I've seen pictures of them and everything when they do like press releases and stuff. There's a team that does their social media, and like it seems like it's one person, but like people, they're very witty, they're very on top of everything. Like I've seen live streamers do live streams about Universal. They'll pop into their live stream. People lose their mind when you see Universal Studios Orlando and they come in and they just like and they interact and talk. It's like, what's up? And my favorite thing was the Velocicoaster. They built it and they started doing it, and they didn't say nothing for like 3 or 4 months, and like they had such fun with their social media team, just saying, "What are you talking about?" Like they were just playing, like it was just really funny. And then when they launched it and talked about everything, Velocicoaster is so intense. That is one thing though. Dave, you were kind of saying like for me, I'm a little older and everything. I didn't really get to I didn't go on Velocicoaster. I didn't go on Hagrid's. Like a lot of stuff is a little rougher. It definitely
two of the most amazing rides I have ever been on are the Velocicoaster and Hagrid's. They are unbelievable, and obviously they're a totally different kind of attraction, but they blow anything that Disney has out of the water.
Yeah, for thrill rides, definitely
for thrill rides,
So my take is though, Dave, like the pandemic hit. They were both closed forever. Like, and they got to make up the money, like, obviously I get it, and Bob Paycheck. I don't know if you say that on the show or not, but like, he's the bad guy, like
we love Bob on this show.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So, but like, I know exactly. Well, I don't know what you love doing with Bob Paycheck, but
him our money. That's what we love.
Unfortunately, over the last 2 years, you kind of saw like the magic going away for Disney, and like I feel Universal maintained and kept the prices the same. Where Disney World, you look at those hotel rates. Even the cheaper resorts were $200-$300 a night more for the cheaper hotels. They just skyrocketed everything. They gave you less, and the prices were more. Where Universal kind of like they opened up quicker. The mask mandates that came down quicker. Which you want to wear a mask, I'm all for it and everything. But they just kind of went with the flow. I felt they maintained the prices and everything, like the rates and everything. Yeah. I stayed at Cabana Bay. I stayed at the Ventura, which was awesome, which is across the street. And I stayed at I can't think of the other one. Sapphire Falls. Those are the 3 hotels I stayed at. And Cabana Bay is awesome. They have a bowling alley. They have a lazy river. It's a huge hotel. Like it's very retro. You stay in the hotel. They have all the retro soaps and everything. But I felt the value there was great. The prices were good on food. I just felt everything was a good quality and good, a good, for the bang for your buck on the money. Just felt better. And like where I would hear all this bad stuff about Disney World, I would hear so many good things about Universal. Like I think a lot of people kind of abandon Disney World. Like I hear, I know these people, they go 3 times a year and now the magic's gone. They're not going anymore. I hear my friend goes to Epcot and they walk into the land, and there's dirt on the floor. Like, where do you see that? Like at 10 o'clock in the morning, like they need to do a maintenance and cleanup thing. You know, I think the number one, I was listening to your older podcast the last couple of weeks, and I was listening to your D23 one. You know, if you remember back 3-4 years ago, I think the mistake was they promised the world when they did that. They were like, okay, we're giving you this and this. Oh yeah, this, and this. And then the pandemic hit, and we got like 2 or 3 of those things.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff was abandoned. As you remember, that theater in Main Street, the play pavilion, a lot of different stuff.
So many things
gone. Yeah, like
Cherry Tree Lane gone.
Mary Poppins, that attraction, all that stuff they talked about. Like, it was funny because Dave and I were talking earlier, and I went back and listened to you guys. And you're just so right. Like, they promised smoke and mirrors now. Like, they didn't even promise anything at this D23 thing. So that's just par for Disney's course. Like, you didn't even expect it, and that's what you got. You didn't expect anything. Where before you got 10 amazing things, this time it's nothing. So look, like, I think Universal's ready for a surge. You know, the new park's coming. Like, literally yesterday they announced we're gonna redo. Like, it's funny because I'm a huge retro. I wanted to show this too. My mug, Back to the Future, you know, Earthquake. We got King Kong. We got the classic monsters. We got Jaws. We got E.T., which is still there, believe it or not. That's the only retro, but all that stuff's gone. You know, for better for worse, they went with the times. You know, what in 1993, 94, when I went as a kid, you didn't have a cell phone. You didn't have all that stuff. I had a camcorder. Like I said, that was my YouTube. All that stuff's gone. And like in my heart, I wish it was there. But like, you know, you got to remember too, a lot of stuff at Disney World is old properties, old stuff. They're eventually bring some new stuff in. But Universal just kind of clean slate. The Universal Studios Orlando, like all that's gone. Literally, ET's like the only thing there. This 5-0 play lane is gone. They just go with the times. For better, for worse. Some of the rides aren't the greatest, like projection stuff, or you know, people don't like it as much. Some of the rides that it replaced, they still went with the times, like you said. And a lot of things too is it's funny. Marvel is Disney. Simpsons is Disney. It's so funny because Disney is making money off Universal. It's kind of funny with IPs.
That's right.
And you know, Harry Potter is huge for them. I'm sure they probably lost a ton of money off Harry Potter, but you go to the parks, you see everyone in the robes, you see everything. I know it's working with Universal. Like it's a huge challenge to work with you know, the entity of Harry Potter, because they're so protective about the books, and they're protective. Warner Brothers protective about the movies. So, but that brings people to the parks. People love Harry Potter. And they do have a bunch of different, you know, Hasbro with Transformers. They have a lot of different IPs that they brought in, and they're smart. You know, Nintendo, what a win! Like I heard that, you know, Disney that Harry Potter approached Disney and they turned it down. I'm sure it's one of the biggest regrets of their life that they turned it down.
I mean, I would have much rather them put Harry Potter in Animal Kingdom or something like that than Pandora. Like, I mean, Flight of Avatar is awesome, or Flight of Passage is great, but like, look at the amazing things that they have done with Harry Potter at Universal. Imagine that at a Disney park. Like, missed opportunity.
I think my number one takeaway, guys, is, you know, the prices went up, the magic went down at Disney. Like, I love Disney. I've been there a couple times. Like, I was there in January. I've been a couple times. I snuck over there too, which was awesome. But I think that's just the bottom line. You know, Universal's doing a lot of things right. Their hotels were great. The rides are great. The future's great. They're spending a lot of money to put you know, invest in their future. So
I have to say. So the one thing for me, I was not. No, that's great. That's great. Like we want your perspective because you've been there. I don't know. You may have not. Like I know you had a big splurge this summer where you had been a couple times, like, you know, getting ready for an event. But you have a history of there where Brandon's been a couple times that I haven't been. So, but here was the thing. I reserved my judgment intentionally. When they announced Epic Universe, right? I was like, oh my gosh, Nintendo World. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. Well, then I saw it in Japan and I was like, oh, holy crap, this is legit, right? And then I was like, but still, they'll find a way to bring it to America and mess it all up, right? I was still like a naysayer. And one of the reasons why I was like, D23 is gonna come and they're gonna announce something that's going to absolutely shush the crowd from Epic Universe, right? And so, like we talked about today, Rob, and like we talked about on our show, I definitely go back and here and listen to the D23 recap episode. It is some of our most satire, and it was. We did not hold back, or I don't want to throw Brandon under the bus.
We did not hold back.
And so here's the thing. Here's all you need to know as a Disney fan. Both parks had to shut down from the pandemic. Okay. Rob just talked about all of the things, especially at Epcot, that got announced that now are no more. And Universal is building a new gate. That's all you need to know. Like in a world where both of them were being absolutely destroyed and I want to say paralyzed financially, like as we were seeing it in all of entertainment industry globally, like was completely flipped upside down, right? And Disney's a big monster. It's probably bigger than Universal, at least dollars and cents wise. But all you need to know is D23, they announced a whole bunch of whiteboard ideas and blue sky things. And what if we do this? And what if we do this? When they had the opportunity to say, hey, we know right across the street, they're going to do this. And here's what we're doing in Central Florida. Instead, it was like, oh, you see that there back there behind Mine Train? What if there was cocoa over the mountains? I'm like, what do you mean? What if? Like, what do you mean? What is a what if? And so that's what I see. Both of these companies were being absolutely toilet bowled financially, and not only are they building Epic Universe, it's on time. And we all know weather in Central Florida is a crapshoot, but yes, we're 1,700 plus days from Tron. That is literally a carbon copy of something that already exists. Please explain that to me. I need somebody who builds and who's in the industry. You don't have to be. Please explain to me how that's even possible. And so that's, and then you take Epcot's transformation that was going to be and literally throw it all in the garbage can. Now, I will say this, nothing gets thrown away at Disney. It definitely goes on a shelf, and maybe it comes back and maybe it doesn't. But D23 was your chance to be like, hey, here's what we're going to do. And so that's all I needed to see. I was like, okay, Universal, when their money's going down the toilet, is building a brand new gate for people to go to, and Disney World is announcing some things that, hey, we talked about this in a board meeting. So I don't know. That's my thing. And so I'll give my one, because I was going through the news. The biggest difference that I have understood and read about and seen is between the two is Disney has way more entertainment than Universal does. Like that's you got Beauty and the Beast, you got Frozen Sing Along, you've got Lion King, you've got what just came back, Fantasmic, right? There's a lot more entertainment. And so I think that's one of the things that separates Disney from Universal.
Finally, it took a long time to get there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of entertainment, nighttime spectaculars, we've talked about how they're some of my favorite things at Walt Disney World. And I think, unfortunately, I did see the show over Hogwarts or whatever that nighttime spectacular is, which was good, but that does not measure up to Harmonious. That does not measure up to Happily Ever After. I think where Disney wins this, and this is why people come back, because they have the emotional attachment to it. We talk about this all the time, how we felt when you heard the beginning of Happily Ever After, and it's the ba 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 ba, it made you feel a certain way. I love Harry Potter. I saw every Harry Potter movie in the movie theater at midnight the day it came out. So I love Harry Potter, but watching the show over Hogwarts did not make me feel that way. So I think that's where Disney has a little bit of an edge, and that's why it has its rabid fans, right, that go back 3-4 times a year, because they want to see and they want to feel that feeling when they see those kind of nighttime spectaculars, or when you're sitting on Main Street for the Festival of Fantasy Parade. There's just something about seeing this character Snow White or Cinderella or Rapunzel that kids have grown up with that I don't think you get at Universal. It's super cool. Everything at Universal is amazing. The Harry Potter world is one of the most immersive things I've ever been to. Diagon Alley is amazing. I could go to the park for 3 days and not leave that area because it's so unbelievable. And I don't think Disney has anything that rivals that just yet. But I think it's the emotional attachment that brings people to Disney, and it's the technological attraction that brings people to Universal Studios.
Yeah, I will say, I do want to say, like, double-edged sword here. Galaxy's Edge, well, like when that got announced, I mean, just amazing, right? And if you've been there, it's incredible. As a lifelong Star Wars fan, as someone who saw every movie in the theaters except the original, I'm not that old. But I remember going to Empire Strikes Back with my dad at like 6-7 years old. Like we went and so, and so you've got, again, this old group of fans, but then, they had the new films come out, and like, it's again, that's their generational pull, like your Nintendo. But I gotta say, it wasn't as epic as it could have been. Right.
No.
And so like,
because
and I wonder how much
there's
of that
droids
is dying.
going around. Yeah, there's droids going around, the interaction. They did it at first too, like a lot of the characters and stuff. But I went in 2019, there was some of the stuff. And it just kind of went away.
But I gotta say, one of the things that Disney is learning is to like never say never. And what I mean about that is, I think it was kind of like a hard rule, or at least it was a non-spoken rule, that like they weren't going to cross like
timelines.
Timelines. Well, I think people are like, dude, like we understand all this new stuff, but like where are all the characters we know and love, right? Oh, you have to go back over to the meet and greet way on the other side of the freaking park. That I don't even get me started with Hollywood Studios, the nightmare of dead ends that park is. But like, I just like, I'm not underwhelmed by it, but I think I was so excited that when I got there, I was kind of like, this is cool, but it's not you go there, ride the rides, walk around, definitely go get a Ronto wrap. And I mean, you've done it. Yeah. Take a picture in front of it, like where, I just don't think, I think Pandora is cooler. There you go. I do. I mean, at night, but I think that's way cooler.
Even when it's not ever open at night, but
that's wrong park, Disney.
Yeah, when they promised, Galaxy's Edge, like I said, the interaction, the droids and everything, I think a lot of it got moved over to the hotel, which I haven't heard anything about that hotel since opening day. I don't know what happened to the hotel. So
it's struggling.
I don't know anyone who stayed there. So I don't know. But I think like that whole lounge and like the singer and like that interaction, and like it looked cool when I see the vloggers and everything. But I think they realized they can't do a lot of it, and I think they realized, hey, let's charge a huge premium to go in a hotel and do it. So Disneyland like is doing the Mandalorian, which is cool, and like I don't know why Disney World didn't get that, but
I don't know,
stand out, it's cool.
I will say.
Go ahead.
I will say briefly, just to piggyback off that. Sorry, I hate that term. I don't know why I said piggyback. But like, if you watch D23 and Disneyland is your park, it was a phenomenal,
amazing,
phenomenal, but not for Disney World. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say, and we talked about this on our wrap-up show. Like Disneyland had got this and this, and Hawk meet and greet, and Mandalorian, and like we were like, this is awesome. I can't wait to get to Disney World. And then they brought like Joe Johnson from the coffee room, and they're like, hey, tell them some things we talked about when you were making your coffee today. Like, it was highly disappointing, and I think just
Dave put it right. It was like ideas on a napkin. Like that's what
it
he
was.
said.
It was like Josh just said, "Hey, who wants to talk on stage today?"
Yeah, it's like yes. It was there was so many awkward. Yeah, I watched I couldn't watch all of it. It was so awkward and uncomfortable. And they were looking around at each other like kind of like they needed that like confirmation that like this is great news, right? It was very bizarre.
Yeah,
Not like again, we're a Disney podcast. We love Disney, but it was just weird.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, all the negative press. They could have made things. I don't know. I guess they're not ready. I'm hoping that it's going to be. When is the next D23 anyway? Is it next
every
year?
2 years?
Every
it's
2 years.
biannually.
Every 2 years.
So yeah. And think about it. They skipped a year because of COVID. So there was really, it was a big gap. So like people were expecting a lot. Now again, maybe that's foolish of us, right? We always put too much like as a big time Apple fan, the keynotes get lamer and lamer because like at this point technology is so freaking amazing. What else can they really do, right? But like we get so excited and like what are they going to do? And they come in and like, oh, that's it. Okay, great. And it's a new chip and new cameras and yay, we love our phones. Whatever. But like I get it. But like when your direct competitor across the street like announces a new gate and continues with it even during COVID, and you announce all this stuff and then scale it back and then come back with napkin ideas. Like that was your like. I mean, I guess it was to generate talk. Well, it worked.
They
but
didn't
now
even
nobody's
announce
talking.
Phantasmic, which they could have because it's
Right.
opening tomorrow or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's just bizarre. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. The answer was bizarre.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Now, I had a question for you, Rob, and I don't know. Have you experienced? Here's one of the huge differences between Universal, and this may be drawing other people there. We know, we love, we've talked about it a lot. Disney using the reservation system.
Oh, yeah.
Universal, I do not think has a reservation system.
They
Like if you
do, but it's got expensive and it's much different. Like it's just
Okay.
literally, I think you just go on each ride, no lines, and it's very expensive. It's like,
but that's like their max pass, right? Like you're like $100 a person, like go to the front of the line. Like, do you have to make a reservation to go in the park?
No, you don't. Well, no, I don't think they have reservations. And
That's a way bigger.
I forget what the
bonus.
reservation. I apologize. It's just slipping my mind. But if you stay at the more the premium hotels, you get it for free, which is kind of cool. And it's just Express Pass, they call
Express
it.
Pass. Yeah.
And it's cool. But like if you buy and like that, unfortunately, that's a sliding system too. So it could be like $100 one day, it could be $150 another day.
Yeah.
It's not cheap. And they do have the other hotels you get to go an hour early, like they have the Magical Express there too, whatever. But it is cool, you do get the head of the line, boom, it's right there. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Another thing, I would pay $100 for that if I truly got to go to the front of the line. Like, and I think that's where they blow Disney away. Like, yes, it is expensive, but you get the value for what you pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I get to walk up and I wait 5 minutes max to get on a ride. Like Disney, I buy the Genie Plus and I stand in line for maybe still 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lightning lane for Epcot when our friends were in town last week, and I still stood in line for Guardians of the Galaxy for 45 minutes. Like, to me, paying to stand in line for 45 minutes is not worth it. Like, so I think that's where yes, it's more expensive, but you get what you pay for over there. So I think that is a bigger draw. That helped. Obviously, Disney starting to charge more money, adding other charges on top, and not giving you more, like you've said a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, so you're talking, this is going to be their fourth gate, right, Rob?
That's what they say. I did get to go to Volcano Bay. It's pretty awesome. Like I didn't really expect much of it. And like again, they had like a lazy river. They had a crazy river. You put on like a straight jacket and they just throw you down. It's pretty awesome. And it's just the theming is amazing. You go on the volcano. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it another park, but they do. And like they call it their third gate. So I guess technically, like I said, it's gonna be the fourth gate, but I don't know. It's gonna be cool. I have a question for Brandon, actually. But what were we saying, Brandon? You finish your thoughts.
Disney had 6 gates then, right? Because we got Typhoon Lagoon. And
you have to include it.
We got 6 going on. But yeah, what's the question?
I love the thing. So I was curious what you thought, Brandon. What would you think if when Dave actually does go? What would you think he would like it? Do you think he would be won over? And my question is, what do you think he would like better, old school Universal or the current Universal?
So one, I think Dave would love Universal. I don't know. He just like he's old. He's very set in his ways. Like when he comes to Orlando, I think like his body naturally takes him to like Magic Kingdom. So, but I think if we could get Dave to Universal, he isn't a huge Harry Potter fan.
But I would love to see it.
He knows the movies, but he probably loved to see it. But Dave loves thrill rides. Like, ever since I've known Dave, we've gone to Busch Gardens, we've gone to King's Dominion, like all of these theme parks with amazing roller coasters. Yeah. So I think he would love that part of Universal Studios. Yep. I think he would probably like Islands of Adventure more, just, because that's where most of the fun stuff is, the fast stuff is. But yeah, I think we can win him over. I keep trying to get him to come down. He's coming down in February to go to we're going to the Daytona 500.
Let's go.
So he's coming down. I'm going to try to I wish he would come
let's
down
do it.
early so we can just hit up Universal. But I think we could win him over you're always going to love Disney, but I think he would get done with that and be like, yo, that was awesome.
Yeah, I know I would. That's probably why I'm mortified to go. I'll be like, oh my God, I love it more. Just kidding. It probably won't happen. Now, I do want to talk because we've danced, like really the idea of why Brandon and I wanted to do this show was because of Epic Universe. Again, this park that's opening in this new gate that's opening in sometime in 2025. There's a couple of things that I think we need to talk about with this. And one, like, this may be like the writings on the wall, but I do want to say it, like, this is 100% designed to try to be a Disney killer. Like, this is the only intent of it, right? And then I think another thing to talk about is that I think for the first time, at least since I've been like invested in like the theme park world as an adult, of like, hey, this is way freaking better than we were kids. Why didn't I love this in my 20s versus my 30s and 40s? Universal wants to take on Disney World. Like, I think the fear of you've got the big, living in their shadow. I think they're just, pardon my French, they're just ballsy enough now that I think they know that, like, we can do this. We have a fighting chance. I mean, looking at the numbers, like Brandon said, I think that is another key factor. That they're just like, I'm not saying that they were scared, but like, now it's just like they were the little brother, right? Well, I think that they're like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. And they're putting their money where their mouth is. And so do I think Disney World will wake up and smell the coffee? Yeah. But I also think that they're like Apple. They're always late to the party, but when they come out with it, it's perfected and it's great. And it, people love it, but they never lead with it. I like the leaders. I like the innovators. I like the people that take chances, like, hey, guess what? If there's something in that park that fails, fine. Like, I'm still going to applaud them for like, dude, you went for it and look, like, you've created this and look at all the people that are enjoying it. So those are the two things that I want to talk about. And like, mostly, like, again, I have seen a couple of the Harry Potter movies. I'm hoping that my kids will get into it, and then that will force me to watch it with them, and then I'll see the whole library. But
we made our kids watch all the Harry Potters before we went down there. They were like, "Why are we watching these again?" And then like we surprised them, and literally, I think we watched the final one, and like next week they were in, with the Wizarding World.
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
I mean, and that's the other thing, right? Like, you've got this whole, like, when they grow up a little bit, we've got this whole album of Disney stuff that they're all in love with and watching, and now we can start to introduce them to new things like this, and like, I mean, our daughter is now obsessed with Stranger Things because we waited a little bit. We wanted her to get a little bit older just to find, like, are you going to have like night terrors because you watch? So we wanted to make sure we were past that stage. And oh my gosh, she's like binging all the seasons right now. And so like, I'm excited about this, like, and this could just be the perfect timing of my kids beginning to get a little bit older to where they maybe want more thrill seeking adventures than somewhat Disney provide. But like, both of my kids in the past week have both said they miss Disney World. So I know it's like ingrained in their heart, like, which is perfect for a dad who's obsessed with it. But I'm excited about Epic Universe. It looks like a destination, not a theme park. Is that fair? That's what, like,
there's going to be a hotel there. Yeah. I mean,
and the like Bellagio fountain feel, like, that gets me, bro. I love it. Like we went to Pigeon Forge this summer, and we went to a place called the Island, which is basically a tourist trap, but they have this teeny tiny little thing, and every 30 minutes they do a fountain show, and I just sat out there for like 4 hours and watched them all one day. Like, that's what, like, it gets me. And so to have like that be like this new nighttime feature and attraction, like, within like this theme park that has like that, there's a Harry Potter piece that's going into Epic Universe, correct?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like I forget what it is. Like, it's all rumors. They really haven't, besides, obviously the Nintendo is just obvious because they're building it, it's existing. But it's going to be like I forget what it is. It's going to be like, they were saying it was going to be the Fantastic Beasts at first,
series,
but that's I don't think that's going to be the case. I just think it's going to be another entity. Like, it's going to be like I forget what they were saying, what the rumors are. I don't remember.
I'm looking at it now.
Like maybe the Ministry of Magic.
That's it. I'm sorry. Thanks, Brandon. The Ministry of Magic is going to be a part of that. That's what they're saying. So, and then the classic Universal Monsters is part of it. And then they had to Train a Dragon. It's going to be really cool too. I think.
Yeah, now if they can find a way to use flu powder and like, warp you from over at Hagrid's over to the Ministry of Magic and Epic Universe. Now that will blow Disney out of the water. They got the train to take you between the two.
That's right.
Train's awesome, yeah.
How do you get from Diagon Alley to the Ministry of Magic? That will be the key.
It's going to be interesting. One other thought I had, Dave, as we're talking here, You know, it's funny too. When we went in January, I stayed off property probably for the first time in 20 years. And I think when they took away the Magical Express, I think that took away some of the magic too.
Yeah.
Thing. And you know, Universal really does want you to stay there and at their hotels and all that kind of stuff. So I think Universal kind of built that up, and they had more people staying there. Where Disney, like I stayed at a timeshare, like a Airbnb, and you know, and then we drove to Universal, we drove to the Disney World. I feel like they're scaring people away from the properties just because of the prices, and you know, the magic isn't there as much. So that was another point I was thinking. So
absolutely. It definitely makes it less magical. You know, they started slowly doing away with it. Like it started off with like you went and got your own luggage and brought it to the Magical Express instead of, you know, just landing, getting on the bus and hopping to the park, and your luggage was there when you got back, which made it seem magical. Like you were going to the bubble and it was awesome. So then they said, bring your own luggage, which made it feel like any other vacation. And then they took it away completely. So then you have to arrange your own transportation, which is, you know, that makes it like any other. You know, if I got to pay for somebody else to drive me, I might as well drive myself. So, I think some of the magic's going there. And that's what I see a lot about Universal is it's all there. They want you to experience the Universal bubble. They want you to stay on property, walk everywhere, take a boat everywhere, and just be immersed in that. And, you know, it's a little easier over there because obviously it's smaller, but, you know, they kind of have that. They're going in that direction when Disney is heading in the other direction.
Yeah, which is strange, right? I mean, it's like monkey see, monkey do. Like it was pretty like, hey, that worked really well. Why not do that? Like, especially when Disney's taken away. Yeah, I think that, like, you know, like Rob said, as we get older, I also like the idea of like all of that is much easier to do in a day. You know, like Disney just has some monster sized parks, right? I mean, you just have like it's a lot to get around, and it's not easy, right? You know, like you have to love Disney to want to go to Magic Kingdom. I'm just saying, it's not like when you start on property, from the moment you get on property, if everything's perfect, you're 35 to 40 minutes before you walk through the gate. Like, I mean, that's a big commitment. That's where basically you drive to Universal and you're in the parking garage and you walk down and like you're on property and in the gate. Like, you know, and so now I get it. That's only Magic Kingdom, but like, that's the draw. That's where I like, I mean, I always like want to start my trip there and end my trip there. Like, that's the pinnacle for me. But, you know, I mean, they've done it. It works. Like they've grown. Like, I think it's a smart system. It's just not like efficient time wise. Like I'm having Brandon, how many times have we been like, oh crap, we're not going to make it for how long will they wait for our fast pass, or how long will they wait for our dinner reservation?
Yeah, and just fails. Living here, like it's the most well-known park of Disney, but like I said, we don't ever go there just because of the hassle it is to get there. Every other park at Disney, you can park in the parking lot and walk into the park. Magic Kingdom, we ended up, you know, before COVID and craziness, like we would always take an Uber to the Contemporary so we could just walk to Magic Kingdom because it was cheap. It was better to pay $30 for an Uber to just have that convenience as opposed to spending 40 minutes to get in the park. So I think that's where Universal has a little bit of a leg up. Like even, you know, we went last summer, parked in the parking garage, even like walking from the parking garage to there, maybe 15 minutes, like max. Like you just get in the park so much quicker. You know, more things are included. Like if you have a certain pass, obviously parking is included, and you know, if you go after a certain amount of time, parking is free if you don't have the other pass. But it's
after 6:30, it's free.
It's just
kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. But yeah, it's interesting. Dave, we got to get you down, get you to Universal.
It's gonna happen.
Then you can contribute some Universal knowledge on the next show. We do the show like a year from now, and we're like, hey, Epic Universe is open and Tron opens next week.
Another Universal podcast. I smell it already.
It's going to change to another Universal podcast because people will stop listening to us complain about Tron for a year straight. So
I'm pretty sure they've canceled Tron by now. I don't think it's opening.
Yeah, I think they just knocked it down and put the railroad back up.
Rob, this was so great, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for joining us.
We appreciate you. YouTube.com/RobFuz. Go check it out for more than all of your Disney retro. and theme park rides.
Yes,
request some
attractions,
Universal
and videos.
I do Universal too, obviously.
Yeah, he does. That's how I know
Oh,
about
good.
Jaws. I've never ridden anything there.
Jaws still exists in Japan, which one day I'll get back there. I'm going on it, but Jaws is like
Nice.
one of my favorite rides.
Nice.
Well, this is good.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
convinced that I need to check it out. Like, and I want to
believe-
go before Epic Universe. I don't want that to be my first, which is like 3 years away. So
Come
I have
down
a feeling. I have a feeling once
early.
Epic Universe opens, it's going to be nuts down there. So I think
Yeah.
it's a good
Yep.
call
It is
to get
going to be
down there
nuts.
for it.
Yes, come down before the 500 will go.
that's right.
It's a 2 days. You're done. You could do it.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Yep.
Much, my wife will appreciate the much cheaper trip and less time away from the kids. Dun-dun. Rob, you're the best, man. We're always so thankful
Thanks,
to, have you come on and love what you appreciate what you do on YouTube and bringing back all of the memories and showing things to the millennials that they never got to experience, right? That's always a big
That's
one.
right.
Yeah, I love when they're like, "What is that? Like, what ride is that?" People explain in the chat. Oh, it's this.
Wow, it's in color.
They had trees then? What?
Oh, I love it. All right, folks, until next
All right.
time.
Until next time.
Bicycle.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.